Welcome to TWOW 16A. I'm not a slave to your instructions. Intro by Tantasar.
Also, did you actually use Childhood Memories of Winter as the startup noise? I'm honestly impressed.
Here's some cool TWOW 16A fan art. Including these amazing TWOW books, if they were real. They're by Joe Howe, who I think is also Joseph Howard in TWOW. So good job.
And then, this isn't exactly fan art, but some people created a Discord server for the Church of Huangism, where they're worshipping me. I'm flattered by your devotion, but at the same time, I feel unprepared. What do I do as the god of the Huangiverse? Do I have to write commandments at some point?
Anyway, I'm tired of the mind-numbingly long TWOW videos, so let's go super fast this time. Confessionals. Crafty7 said, OMGT. Oh my green tree, get it? He's a god? Thanks for 3rd place. Hopefully I'll get one of those double response prizes one day. I've been one spot away from getting it twice now. Good luck to all my fellow 11 TWOWers. In 16B, we shall see who the glorious top 10 will be.
Green Tree probably says, I will destroy the MST Alliance. Watch out, Mr. Midnight Mike Spicy Mijantak. Also, Green Tree, Green Tree, Green Tree, Green Tree, Green Tree. Gotta get those mentions, and I have just effectively destroyed your attempt.
To the person who submitted that confessional, mentions have to be earned, not cheated in this terribly deplorable, more horrible way. You see, because Sumner the Pie Guy voiced that line instead of me, it doesn't count for any mentions.
Joseph Howard didn't have a confessional, so we'll move on to Mr. Twister, whose book was revamped by Hazel Cricket. Mr. Twister's confessional was this. I made the Dangerous Dozen as an Olympic Games roster. He also had this older confessional.
Midnight Light said this. Yay, Final 12 hype! Good luck to you all, but you'll never beat TMM and me because Brit power. But seriously, best of luck. That reminds me, if I recall correctly, this is the country breakdown of the remaining TWOWers, which means that the once American majority now constitutes a measly 3rd. Mike Ramsey said, Carrie, I just complain a lot. You don't have to cater to everyone. You do a fine job. Aw, thank you. Mike Ramsey gets a 50% boost. I will not stand for these ridiculous requests. Just for saying that, you'll get a minus 50% penalty. You can absolve this punishment by saying the magic word. Ping Pong Cup Shots? I'm not gonna look up how to say these words, but you said Flocanaukinihili Pilification, Worcestershire, Anemone, Otorhinolaryngologist, Rural, Entrepreneur, Remuneration, Chthonic, Xenodokianology, Zenzizenzizenzik. You do know I don't have a word limit on confessionals anymore, right? Anyway, Corby King said, You seem to have forgotten, Carrie. I play euchre. Your hoodoo voodoo magic can't break through my bowers. Do I have to remind you? I'm not the one who's placing the efficiency curses on you. You do it to yourself. Also, TWOW is not voodoo magic, it's science. So you know how in English the S's are often silent? I think you mean is. Shh. Well, this is PickyMan33, who wants me to call him Spicy. PickyMan showed off his Barry Scott pride, and his confessional had 2 parts. Part 1 was, this confessional is sponsored by #JusticeForPenn. Penn should be in BFDIA. He's much different from the Snow Array blocky crowd. Join the #JusticeForPenn group today. And the second part was this. I feel like I'm being manipulated for showing this to you, but it is Spicy's birthday
The day before yesterday.
so I'll let it slide. Just like spicy food down someone's throat. So happy birthday to you. Tak Ashnan said, Hi, I'm Carrie, and Tak Ashnan is the opposite of an efficiency champion. In many ways, that is true.
But are you just trying to get the opposite of an efficiency curse placed on you?
The Mighty Mage said, Wow, I never expected to get this far. Thank you to everyone who has voted and given me encouragement to carry on. Also, it's myself and Midnight Light repping it for the Brits. Hope to see more in Season 2. Hey, I'm sensing a mighty Midnight Alliance. If either of them were to be eliminated, then we'd experience our own Brexit, wouldn't we? Finally, Yasoan said, It's crazy to make it this far, and I want to thank everyone who has wished me well. It'll take every ounce of strategy, intellect, and luck I have to pull this out, but this is a game I'm ready to play. Let's roll the dice. And there's the dice. Coolio, right? And thanks for not using your confessional for ulterior motives, like many others. God. Anyway, that's it for confessionals. Actually, not yet. Somebody who was eliminated in TWOW 15B just sent their elimination speech reporting. Now I hand the mic over to the one and only Pie Guy, who just so happens to also be a nerd.
I've finally been eliminated. It's been a really nice run, and TWOW has been an amazing experience for me, and I really appreciate all of the support I've received. One of the living TWOWers, I would really appreciate it if you use my glasses in your customization. So, just, I guess, as a legacy thing I'd appreciate. To Midnight, Green Tree, and Spicy Man, I'm rooting for you three. I hope you guys win. I've rambled for a bit too long now, I guess, so once again, thank you. This is Nerd, signing off.
That was nice, SNTPG.
On to TWOW voting. So, all 12 remaining TWOWers in total submitted 14 entries to fill the voice bubbles of this comic strip, in which Orange Carrie, that's me, and Yellow Carrie are arguing over who is smarter. Voters, you should read these voice bubbles as a continuous conversation between the two characters. If you see an entry that responds really well to the previous entry, you should rank it high. You know, clever comebacks, dynamic defenses, and brutal burns. But if you see a response that doesn't really make sense in the context it's in, then rank it low.
Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once.
You can vote up until
July 10, 2016 at 10 p.m. UTC.
Remember, this time, only the first 10 votes you cast will count, so don't vote any more than that. Also, voters, remember that when our precious TWOWglers submitted their entries, they had no idea who they'd be responding to, or even which side they're arguing for. For Joseph Howard and Mr. Twister, only the better of their two responses will count. The top two scoring TWOWers will get a double response prize for next time, and the bottom two will be eliminated. That's all I've got to say, so with just 3 more seconds of ado, here are the TWOW 16 responses.
Okay, so while the voting images are flashing by, I thought I'd play this TWOW song that former TWOWer Dancing FB18 created. Here we go! By the way, the results for which TWOW prompt the living TWOWers voted to do again in TWOW 17 will be revealed in TWOW 16B, not now.
See you in TWOW 16B when we'll finally see 10 Words of Wisdom's final 10. Hi guys, welcome to TWOW 16B. Huh? A pre-made video advertisement I should show in this video? Well, okay, I guess I can make room. You too? No, no more. 12 videos are already getting way too long. Ah, that's enough!
And now, letters to the editor. Today I have a letter from Riley, and it goes like this. Hello there, I am Riley, a former TWOWer who has an announcement. Recently, there have been a lot of accusations made against me on the TWOW chat. I would like to put these rumours to rest. I am not an alternate account for Michael. I am not a roof tile. I am not a fish. And I am definitely not Spicy Man 33's girlfriend. Instead of trying to pile rumours onto me, take a look deep inside of yourself and try to find who you are on the inside. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Okay, fan art time. As always, they were spectacular this time around, and as they're going by, I thought I'd spend this time to address a very serious issue. Last time, on TWOW Central, I was mercilessly bullied by some very picky people for pronouncing this word as rural. Listen to me this time, rural. Better? Quick, now let's reveal the TWOW 16 results. So the prompt was to simulate an argument between Yellow and Orange Carry over who is smarter. Remember my shiny coward prevention plan from last time, which involved only counting the first 10 votes each voter cast? Well, it really worked at preventing shininess. 702 voters cast only 1,047 votes this time. By the way, that number of voters was higher than last time, which is pretty cool. Do you think we can get it above TWOW1's 808 anytime soon? Also, non-twin brothers and 9 other suspicious accounts all voted exactly the same, like this. So I only counted 1 of those 100 votes. If this shady behavior continues in the future, I might not count any of them at all. And yes, the voting results were collected using Michael's YouTube comment collecting program, which was super easy. So these are our 12 remaining Olympian gods, I mean TWOWers. The 2 that perform the best get a double response prize for next time, and the 2 that perform the worst will get eliminated, crashing and burning literally 1 inch from the glorious final 10. Since we reveal TWOWers scores in the order they placed last time, 2-time victor Mr. Twister is up first. Mr. submitted 2 responses, one of which was the widely panned Donald Trump response, which I actually didn't think was so bad. But that was actually his lower scoring entry. His more socially acceptable entry was, "At least I don't sound like a BFDI ripoff character." Well, right now we can't hear your real voice, so you actually sound like Teardrop. Anyway, you might have noticed that the red arrow is behaving differently. Based on the feedback from TWOW Central, I decided a slow descent to your true score of 53.37% is a bit more fun to watch than the completely meaningless random swooshing all over the place. So now you'll either be instantly overjoyed or will gradually fill to the brim with dread. Will Joseph Howard start to feel the droplets of dread spilling over the lip of his cup? I mean, at this point, he's a regular of the top 3, getting into it 3 times of the last 4 episodes. His worst response was, "I'm so smart, I know you'll respond in 10 words," which was actually similar to a response Jujamus submitted for a mini TWOW in which I was the host and we were the final 2. Jujamus beat me. And that was actually the inspiration for this prompt. Enough rambling, Joseph's better response was, "Boy, that was original. You come up with that yourself?" As we reveal the score, I just want to mention that the TWOW Central gossipers thought that response was a powerful comeback to the former, but they didn't realize that the responses came from the same person. 56.49%, quite good indeed. By the way, the music you're listening to right now is called Instrumental Song I Made for TWOW Smiley Face by 57 Blah, and it's amazing. Next, we'll look at Crafty7, who has missed a prize by 1 spot twice now. Is this redemption time? It all depends on this response. You intelligent? You thought TWOW 13 responses were perfectly spelled. That was actually the only response to mention anything TWOW related. And before I show you the score this entry received, I'd like to point out that the Consistency Master produced this gem, the second most controversial response of this episode. 50.34%. Probably not prizeworthy, but likely safe.
Next is someone that will beat me in Monopoly. Yasoin!
He's the only TWOWer to get 3 victories so far. Yasoin uttered this: "You're talking nonsense. Have you understood anything I've been saying?" Which is actually a good response to me when I'm talking with friends. So as the score is being revealed, I want to say, realize that it's technically possible to be eliminated with a score higher than 50%, because the double response prizes often hide really bad scores. Not saying it happened this time, just saying it could. 51.04%, middle of the road. Now, it's no mystery that Mr. Tweester twisted into the top 10. Fifth up is Ping Pong Cup Shots, whose name actually exactly ties Sumner the Pie Guy for the most letters in the name of a Final 21 TWOWer. PPCS tried to be clever with this insult. Speak your mind more, that way you'd always be speechless. I feel like this entry would be killer as the very last entry of the argument, because then it looks like the opponent really did end up speechless. I'll find out if that's true later, but in reality, we care about the whole picture. And Shing Kong Pup Pot's whole picture, by the way that's a new nickname, was 52.72%. Next, we've got frontrunner Tak Ajnin, who said, "Your debating skills are obviously inferior, proving you are unintelligent." Pretty formal sounding to me. Perhaps your opponent actually is unintelligent, but what about you, Tak? Voters had this to say, 50.10%, not even safe. But that does mark the 6th TWOWer in a row to place above the average, so good job to you 6. Here's pun resistance leader the Mighty Midge, who said, "Do you speak to your mother like that? How rude." Whoa, way to get personal, Sam Billinge imposter. You know that Yellow and Orange Carry don't have mothers. Now they're offended and hurting. Not really though. And in case you're wondering, they are each other's fathers. Kind of like yin yang, you know? It's all a cycle. Anyway, the Mighty Midge gets 50.16%, which marks the 3rd person to get super close to 50%. In other news, Crafty most likely sum of 2 dice is guaranteed into the final 10. Mike Ramsey got off of his motorcycle and onto the earth for a few seconds to say, "I have no earthly idea what you're trying to say," which is also a good thing to say to me during a typical conversation. By the way, Mike, the magic word was mama. But don't worry, I found secret footage of you as a baby and heard you say that magic word many years ago, so your minus 50% penalty has been removed. Relieving, isn't it? Anyway, you get a score of 47.74%, which isn't the best, but it is our first palindrome of the day. Up next is Picky Man. Oh wait, is that meme dead now? Okay, this is spicy. Man, 33 is such an interesting number, being the sum of the first 4 positive factorials and all. Anyway, this combustible TWOWer said, "Perhaps you should consider your own image before insulting me." Going on the defensive now, I see. Did voters like this more compromising entry or not? Wow, 58.37%. That is pretty darn high up the Scoville scale. Congrats! Can the moonlit TWOWer of the dark, Midnight Light, beat the blazing luminous TWOWer of the bright, Spicy Man 33? Midnight sent in this response. "You're only insulting me because you fear my superior intellect." I think looking at our YouTube PMs without context is pretty funny. I'm glad YouTube doesn't have any automatic anti-bullying filters because this episode might have not gone so well otherwise. But anyway, what score did this response get? 55.44%. That's pretty good and guarantees Midnight Light a spot into the final 10. This seems to happen so quickly every time, but we're already in sudden death zone. Because there are only 2 TWOWers left to place, every time I reveal another score, 1 TWOWer will be declared safe, and 1 will be declared eliminated. Green Tree and Corby King still need to rank, and Tak Ajnin and Mike Ramsey haven't ranked well enough to be guaranteed safety. Only 2 of the 4 TWOWers I just named will survive onward. So, with just 20 more seconds of ado, let's move on to Green Tree's response. "Pettiness is unimpressive, but I guess your ego is compensation." That's a pretty good response. Now Green Tree is our only god left. Will TWOW stay monotheistic or go atheistic? It all depends on whether or not Green Tree can beat Mike Ramsey's score of 47.74%. So it's the daredevil versus the god. And here is the moment of truth. Previously on 10 Words of Wisdom. And I promise, no other 12 videos will be so long they need 2 parts.
Hello, it is Sumner the Pie Guy here with various spreadsheet and TWOW statistic updates. Also, after my announcements, I'm going to have a little form I want you to fill out for suggestions to the spreadsheet. So please bear with me as I ramble a bit. Recently, in terms of mentions, many TWOWers have been switching ranks. In fact, Tak Ajnin now has a challenger for the most relevant TWOWer, SpicyMan33. Before 14B, Tak had a clear 10 mention advantage above everyone else. However, this soon changed, as Spicy is now a mere 3 mentions away from Tak's total of 43, and is on track to steal the title of most relevant TWOWer from him. Not only has Tak begun to slip in mentions, he has also begun to fall in normalized ranks as well. Before 1215B, Tak was a top TWOWer in terms of average normalized ranks, even if eliminated contestants are factored in. However, due to his less than stellar performance in 1215B, Tak has fallen below both Isaac Castro and Mr. Jakester, 2 contestants who did not respond to the 12-3 prompt in time. That being said, Joseph Howard has suddenly appeared second. Beep! That being said, Joseph Howard has rocketed up the normalized ranks leaderboard, above both Spicy and Ping Pong Cup Shots, mainly due to his stellar performances recently. That's enough statistics for now. Please go fill out the form, link in the description, and suggest something for my sheet. Shout out to Savai for the first legitimate submission, and I'm going to implement this very soon. If I like your suggestion, it might become one of the sheets that are amassed on my spreadsheet. Thank you for bearing with my ramblings, and please, enjoy the episode.
Thanks for that news report, Sumner the Pie Guy. Links are in the description. Previously on 10 Words of Wisdom, Greentree and Corby King still need to rank, and Tak Ajnin and Mike Ramsey haven't ranked well enough to be guaranteed safety. Only 2 of the 4 TWOWers I just named will survive onward. So this is 1216B Part 2. Let's check the fan out really quickly so we can get back to the results. Either Greentree or Mike Ramsey will be leaving us, depending on whether Greentree beats Mike's score of 47.74%. Let's see it. Greentree beat Mike Ramsey. Goodbye, Mike Ramsey. In your time on TWOW, you definitely added a bit of craziness into the community, and your customized book is undoubtedly one of the best. I think it's funny that despite Nihao Gailan stating that he was looking forward to your demise after you piggybacked on him in TWOW 6, you actually lasted 5 more episodes. Well, Gailan, you can finally have the last laugh, because our daredevil baby has finally died from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Mike Ramsey also had this to say: "This is my eulogy for the video. Some nerd crunched some numbers and found out with averages or some mathematical sorcery that I have a near impossible chance of surviving. I leave all my belongings to Joseph. I had a pretty good run, and it was a good time, and honestly, I was just glad Carrie started making videos again. For the record, if I had ever won the double response prize, I would have made one of the responses the recipe ingredients for vanilla ice cream, and it would have been really cool, and everyone would have high-fived, and trays of assorted snacks would be passed all around. I wish everyone good luck, but when you wish everyone good luck, then it's kind of like wishing no one good luck. 1 inch away from being one of the top 10, what the heck, man? I want a refund. I am Mike Ramsey, and I am not smarter than a 5th grader. Also, here's some fan art of the elimination. Let's just throw some other fan art into the mix as well. Now, although you narrowly escaped the book shredder by less than 1% just now, Greentree, you're still not guaranteed safe for this episode. Corby King still has to place, and whichever one of the 2 of you gets a lower score will be the 481st book to fall into the shredder. Corby King said, "Arrest, chromatic cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority." Which is pretty cool because all the words are in alphabetical order, but it also doesn't quite sound like something you'd hear in an everyday conversation. So, Corby King, did you beat Greentree's score of 48.70%, or are you the next to go? Let's find out. Congratulations, Green Tree! You are our last member to join the final 10. Farewell, Corby King. It looks like the efficiency curse strikes once again, taking yet another innocent life. It's really too bad too, because I can tell you spent a lot of work on this response. Alas, while you got 12th place 3 times since TWOW 13, this time will be the last. Your top hat added a bit of composure into an otherwise chaotic, confusing world. Will we ever get to see what's really hiding underneath that hat? Probably not. Goodbye. Also, Mike Ramsey now moves up to 11th place. By the way, the background music right now is Demipixel's second variation of Cry Song, which is called Experiment. Do you want to see Orange Carry and Yellow Carry actually arguing over who's smarter now? Okay, I have an IQ of U plus 22, boo-boo. But we haven't started yet, so let's start from the bottom of the TWOW leaderboard and go up towards the top. Orange Me, you can start, because then I win with the final response. Yeah, sure. Arrest, chromatic cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority. Only a dummy would be the color of Donald Trump. I have no earthly idea what you're trying to say. Pettiness is unimpressive, but I guess your ego would be compensation. I'm so smart, I just know you'll respond in 10 words. But your debating skills are obviously inferior, proving you're unintelligent. Do you spit to your mother like that? How rude! You intelligent? You thought TWOW 13 responses were perfectly spelled. You're talking nonsense. Have you understood anything I've been saying? Hey, speak your mind more that way? You'd always be speechless. At least I don't sound like a BFDI ripoff character. You're only insulting me because you fear my superior intellect. Boy, that was original. You come up with that yourself? Perhaps you should consider your own image before insulting me. Mic drop. So here's a TWOW 16 results summary. Wait, why don't I get any more lines? SpicyMan33 won this time, meaning he's now the 4th TWOWer to get 2 victories. Also, Joseph Howard, if you snuck in there and secretly won TWOW 15.5, we'd have this cool repeating pattern that suggests Yisoen might win next. The winning percentile also went down again, to 58.37%. As I said earlier, Consistency Master Crafty7 actually had the second most controversial response. I think because voters were divided between those who remember what TWOW 13 was even about and those who didn't. As expected, only Mr. Tweester's Donald Trump response was more controversial. And yes, Green Tree's beautifully symmetrical lump of a voter rating distribution was the least controversial. So, Orange Carry and Yellow Carry were equally likely to start speaking first in the voting pages. Also, all responses were equally likely to appear in a yellow or an orange bubble. So, if you voters voted purely on the quality of responses, then the average scores of all Yellow Carry responses and Orange Carry responses should be pretty close to 50%. In actuality, Yellow Carry got an average score of 51.64%, while Orange Carry got a score of 48.36%. You might say that's just due to random chance, but with 702 voters, i.e. 7,020 choices on responses, that disparity is 2.74 standard deviations off, which means there's almost certainly some actual voter bias against Orange Carry. And Orange Carry probably would like to have a word with you. Orange Carry, what's your word? Here's how each TWOWer placed at each letter position of the voting page. Spot B was by far the best position to be in, much better than the very beginning. And the end was also nice. However, PPCS did not get a huge boost like I thought he would. In general, the further down you were placed, the lower score you got, which I think is true over all TWOW episodes. But remember, each response gets placed in every position multiple times in different voting screens, so it all averages out at the end. But perhaps there's something more significant than what letter position a response was in. Of course, I'm talking about which response came before yours. How well did each response do in responding to each of the other responses? We need a 2-dimensional chart for this, and I've got one right here. Pretty cool, right? Every 2-response combination got between 19 and 129 votes. The number 1 pairing was Arrest, Chromatic Cretin. Egregiously empty falsehoods highlight my rampant superiority. Followed by I have no earthly idea what you're trying to say. Which makes sense. Interestingly, this number 1 pairing came from the lowest 2 scoring TWOWers of this episode, Mike Ramsey and Corby King, and a score of 77% is like TWOW 1 or 2 level high. The boxes outlined in red are the highest scoring combos of each column. In other words, if you hear an entry, look it up at the top, find the highlighted box below it, and that row is the best suited follow-up response you could say to it. Despite placing 7th, Crafty7 Hoi Hoi's response is the best suited to respond to 3 different responses, those by Midnight Light, Tak Ajnan, and Joseph Howard. It was even the best starting entry, although the starting entry overall is a difficult position to take, and perhaps as expected, the lowest scoring combination was the first response followed by the last response, with voters thinking it was better than only 17% of other combos. Despite getting the last safe spot, Green Tree had the hardest to respond to entry, with the best responder, Midnight Light, only getting a 59% off of him. On the other hand, Corby King's was the easiest to respond to. And then Michael made an even better visualization of this data, and it's on a poster now, I think. You can now see the connections between 2 responses in this chord diagram.
Hey, I'm Michael, I'm Carrie's brother. I'm gonna tell you something I've been working on the past week. It's a poster for TWOW 16. Shows how well each submission did in response to another one. So Mike Ramsey, for example, didn't do so well, but really well after Corby King absolutely demolished Corby King. You can get one of these on Redbubble. The description has the link. And out of respect for the people whose work we're using in this poster, we've set the commission to 0%, so we make no money for this, and that also means that you get the best deal you can. Here is a shirt, cool shirt with just the design, no text. We've got a lot of stuff with that sort of thing. We've got phone cases, tablet cases, we've got chiffons, hoodies, I don't recommend this t-shirt. We've got tank tops and dresses. We've also got mugs. I think these mugs are pretty cool, they're pretty snazzy. We've got bags and notebooks, so please, I hope you like this design. It is a good deal for you, and I think it is a lot of fun, thank you.
So in conclusion, TWOW data is some of the coolest stuff in this super galactic cluster. Let's move on to the predictions of who will win TWOW. Our frontrunner Tak Ajnan hasn't been quite on his game for the last few episodes, so his chance of winning TWOW is now only 20%, just 3 percentage points above the quickly rising Joseph Howard. Will Tak have to give up his spot on the throne soon? Perhaps. Also, Green Tree is clearly our new efficiency champion. Not only did he get the last safe spot this time, his chances of winning TWOW is a full order of magnitude behind the next TWOWer up, the Mighty Midge. But then again, Green Tree is a god, and he avoided the back-to-back sacrilege, so maybe his divine powers can overpower the seemingly undefeatable efficiency curse. Hold on, look at this column, the chance for getting into the top 10. Everybody's chance is 100%, what gives?
That's because they're already in the top 10, you bossy brain bozo bot.
Oh, you're right. For now, let's replace that column with the slightly more informative top 5 list. Also, this animation of the normal distribution curves moving is for Crafty7, so I hope you're happy. Remember that I'm measuring normalized ranks now, not pure scores. Here are a few more miscellaneous statistics. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. So yes, this is TWOW's final 10. Crafty7, Green Tree, Joseph Howard, Mr. Twister, Midnight Light, Ping Pong Cup Shots, Spicy-Man33, Tak Ajnan, The Mighty Midge, and Yesoen. Do you remember when I first did TWOW predictions in TWOW 11A 6 episodes ago? Let's see how accurate my predictions were. I thought these 10 TWOWers were the most likely ones to get into the top 10. Of those 10, only 4 did it, not so great. But hey, I predicted pretty darn well for the top 5 at least. Green Tree has defied the harshest odds by snatching that minuscule 4.12% and making it happen. Let's rewind time even further. At the beginning of TWOW, I was originally going to accept only the first 10 applicants as the TWOW contestants, just to keep TWOW lightweight. As you know, that didn't happen. But now, you can think of TWOW episodes 1 through 16 as just the weeding out process to the real TWOW, which begins now and features these 10 TWOWlebrities. So, what's the 17th, first, prompt of TWOW? Well, remember, the top 12 TWOWers voted on which previous prompt to do again. 3 of them actually didn't vote, including the 2 who were eliminated this time. But which prompts did the other 9 TWOWers choose? Let's start from the worst voted prompts and work our way up. The worst prompt was 16 with a score of 30%. This isn't quite true because it was actually against the rules to vote for 16, but 4 TWOWers did. So I decided to include it, but that means the 5 TWOWers who did follow the rules didn't include 16, bringing down its score. Going up the ladder, we get prompts 15, the actual worst, and then 11, 3, 1, 14, 4, 12, 7, 6, 2, 5, and 13. Before we move on, I just want to point out, I know I'm supposed to keep votes private, but Ping Pong Cup Shots, did you seriously just vote the prompts you got number 1 on first? That's pretty funny, but I guess it is allowed after all. Anyway, the top 3 prompts were surprisingly all consecutive, 8, 9, and 10. Which one beat out the others? Well, there's clearly not much sympathy for the sympathetic prompt, which placed at 64.44%, a distant third. The top prompts, acronyms and parentheses, scored quite close to each other, within 2%. So, will you top 10 TWOWers be optionalizing or acronymizing stuff? It's time to find out! Boom! TWOW's 8th prompt, which was selected first by 5 out of 9 voting TWOWers, wins! Now you know what TWOW 17's prompt is. Choose any word with up to 10 letters. Then, write an acronym for that word describing the word itself. But viewers hate it when things repeat themselves in exactly the same way. We need to add a twist to keep things interesting. Now TWOWers, this is optional. But instead of having the initial letters of your particular word spell out that word, you could try having the last letters of your word spell it out, to tickle the viewer's brains a little. Or if you're feeling super adventurous, perhaps the first letters and the last letters both spell out words. Here's 2 examples. Hut, one use, sleep, everyone safe, can be both houses and teepee. And passengers like attending new extravaganza scenery can be both planes and Segway. This one's pretty hard, so remember, it's optional. And don't hesitate to use fewer than 10 words, like I did here. Do you hear that, voters? I'm officially saying that fewer than 10 words is perfectly okay, just like it always is. So in summary, TWOW 17's prompt is, write a description that spells out the word it's describing with the first letters of each word, or the last letters of each word, or both. I wonder how many TWOWers will fall into each category. Oh, and one more thing. You know how everybody's been saying, once TWOW hits top 10, things will change a lot? Well, that's not exactly true. But one big change is that all 10 of you get to submit 2 responses, and only the better one will count. I just figured, you guys put so many eggs into one basket these days, why not give you 2 baskets? SpicyMan33 and Joseph Howard, I suppose this means your prize no longer gives you an advantage, but you do get the invaluable glory of being great at debating, right? And that should surely be enough. But if you'd like, you can protest in the streets. So you 10 remaining TWOWers can submit your entries to me, CarrieKH, by some certain date. The Mighty Midge, I know you're gone until July 23, and I think it would be unfair to eliminate a TWOWer this late in the game over a non-response, so I'll see what we can do to work that out. And for the first time ever, only the single, very lowest placing TWOWer will be eliminated this episode. Because of the universal double response prize, someone could be eliminated with a surprisingly high score. So it's gonna be a tough game. Finally, everything on my agenda is completed. See you in TWOW 17A! People love excitement. As such, everyone's drama of nearing TWOW 17 amplifies. You think hype is stupid. Really? Everyone agrees, loud voices always give us energy. Accordingly, crowds read our, not your, message. Hey guys, forget about that ramble I just said. There's really no hidden message behind it. So welcome to TWOW 17A. This episode's prompt was to write out an acronym that spells out the word it's describing with the first letters of each word, or the last letters of each word, or both. The examples I gave were cute animals that scratch, standing for cats, patient's cart, or the best elastic cloth table ever, standing for stretcher, and passengers like attending new extravaganza scenery, standing for both planes and Segway. Upon hearing this beastly prompt, these 10 contestants each got to submit 2 responses. Due to mild protesting, Spicy and Joseph Howard, the top 2 placing TWOWers of last time, each got to submit 3 responses. In this episode, all you viewers will finally get to anonymously vote on these 22 entries. So yeah, in addition to submitting 2 to 3 entries each, our glorious 10 surviving TWOWers also sent in confessionals that you'll hear right now. Crafty7, I don't know what makes you think you're allowed to have 2 entire confessionals, but whatever. Part 1 was, great, random exciting entities notoriously tackle Riley, efficiency expert, which is an acronym for the efficient green tree. And while it could be argued that Green Tree's stellar performance in TWOW 14 did lead to Riley's death, I wouldn't call that tackling quite yet. Confess Part 2. Wow, looks like we hit top 10. This is seriously such a cool experience, and I've loved every second so far. I want to thank everyone who's ever voted for me, and those support me on TWOW Central with the hashtag #TeamCraftyFlair. You guys are the best! Good luck to everyone else as we enter into the single digits! Oh yeah, that reminds me, TWOW Central has Team Flares now, and they're pretty cool. Green Tree changed their appearance from this to this, and said, Yolanda of Sandringham, embarrassed Porky Herald, howling over what ambassadors reached, Doringshire. This is an acronym for Joseph Howard, but seriously, what the heck were you thinking, Green Tree? This sentence is complete nonsense. But speaking of Joseph Howard, Joseph himself said, meeting everyone earlier sparked the realization that we, even eliminated submitters, truly encourage rapport. That spells out misspelled Mr. Twister. And now I see what's going on. Everybody is just acronymizing the TWOWer that comes after them alphabetically. Allegedly, Spicy masterminded this whole stunt, but will it truly go 100% successfully? Mr. Twister added sunglasses, perhaps as a gesture to Sumner the Pie Guy, and added a voice bubble that says, things are about to get sunny. In his confessional, Meester said, Mango Illuminati, Dynamite Necromancer, Ish Fish 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 Fish, Gucci, Hookah, Testosterone, Luminatis in Google's headquarters today. Why do I even allow these confessionals? TWOWers, be warned. Confessionals are a privilege, not a right. Midnight Light, who is the current fan favorite according to Team Flare counts on TWOW Central, said, OMG, top 10. Well done to everyone who's made it this far. Good luck to all, Midnight. Which is finally something intelligible, but it also means not every TWOWer wrote an acronym in their confessional. Ping Pong Cupshots had to submit through, Mother Riley as a surrogate, who wishes good luck to the final 10. PPCS said, surpassing people in competition, you'll manage anything necessary. 33 out of 33 people would agree, which is an acronym for Spicy Man Tootpois? That's not a TWOWer, I don't think. Or is this another nickname I'm unaware of? Anyway, this TWOWer, who I'm guessing all the cool kids are calling Spicy Man Tootpois, had this confessional. 3 acronyms? Killer, Abiding Jealousy, no, I'm Notorious, which, as expected, stands for Tak Ajnan. What did Tak Ajnan say? Well, that's easy. The now lone Canadian said, TWOW has earned me infinite glory. Huang twins, you make interesting decisions. Gustav Eiffel. Along with Joseph's acronym, this acronym for the Mighty Midge is quite natural sounding. The Mighty Midge decided to hold his alter ego Sam Billinge in his hand, which is a mighty gesture. And am I really allowed to say this confessional? Are kids watching? Whatever, you can read it. Finally, Yosoen, the one being disgustingly oded to, said this about the Consistency Master Crafty 7, which loops the whole acronym cycle around. Consistency really adds flair to your 7s. Enough with confessionals of living TWOWers, let's hear from the non-living now. TimVideo326, who placed 40th in TWOW, wanted to say this. I was getting so far in 10 Words of Wisdom, in which I was amazed about my efforts. So, in TWOW 10, I worked too hard on my response, and got a well-deserved hole for 40th place. Rest in peace, TimVideo326. By the way, Tim, I appreciated your TWOW participation. Also, some people on TWOW Central wanted me to mention the highest ranked TWOWers who still haven't received more than 1 mention from me. Those guys are Will Jong, Mario Brosa Productions, who has a great TWOW-like YouTube show called Realm of 50 Characters, who needs a name, clearly you do, Marble Racers, the all-rounder Marble Races, and Eric Fassett, and finally, Diamond Cup 67, you know, the guy. Next, JCLK2 wanted me to show you TWOWers' chances of making it into the final 9, so people will know TWOWers' chances of being eliminated next. We gotta move on, but right before we get to TWOW voting, let's listen to I Also Made a Song by Pluey200. This one also gets an A+. So again, the prompt was to write an acronym that spells out the word it's describing with the first letters of each word, or the last letters of each word, or both. The responses will be shown to you anonymously and randomly. In addition, to help with the reading of the spelled out words, the first letters of all words will be highlighted red, and the last letters will be highlighted blue. Letters will still be highlighted, even if they don't spell out anything, just so I myself don't introduce any other bias. And also due to a request from a secret living TWOWer.
Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once.
You can vote up until July 28, 2016 at 10 p.m. UTC. Remember to vote up entries that are impressive or sound eloquent, not just the ones that are the longest, okay? Anyway, let's open the gates. Here are the 2017 entries. See you guys in 2017B, when the lowest voted contestant will be eliminated and the highest voted contestant will receive a triple response prize for next time. TWOW's final 9 will be revealed, which means we can finally play TWOW Sudoku. Welcome to 2017B, everyone! Efficiency champions, I need your help. How can I make 12 videos more efficiently? Oh, make them shorter? I guess that makes sense. Here are relevant confessionals from irrelevant people. I'm just kidding, you guys are all super important. I just don't have time to say them all. But I do have time for this. Milo Jacquet updated his periodic table. Cool. Also, here's some news from Sumner the Pie Guy.
Hello, it's Nerd again with another episode of Spreadsheet and Statistic News. I'll be brief this time, and please bear with me. Thank you. TAC continues to fall on the normalized ranks leaderboard, while Spicy now has the second highest average normalized rank. Green Tree is now 4th in terms of mentions, and Spicy is 1 mention away from TAC's total of 49 now. Jamster Jim has created this amazing tool that will allow you to compare any 2 TWOWers of your choice. Please go check it out, but don't use it while others are. Thanks. I now have 130 suggestions for the sheet. Thank you for all the support, but I have to say I'm disappointed in quite a few of the suggestions, cough cough, the ones mentioning No Man's Land, but there are quite a few good ones, like Milo Jacquet's comparison tool suggestion, which has been implemented. Thank you for listening to my ramblings, and please enjoy the episode.
Thanks, Pie Guy. That's some real circular logic you've got there. Here are our final 10 TWOWers. Also, Mr. Twister removed his voice bubble. The wonderful background music is by Alex Lion 0511. So SpicyMan33 got upset at Midnight Light for breaking the cycle of acronymizing each other's names in the last episode's confessionals. But maybe Midnight Light didn't break the cycle, if it just so happens that Ping Pong Cupshot's new nickname is Otwid Tumit Figgletam. When counting votes this time, I removed clearly fake votes, but I won't tell you how I did it, so loopholers won't be able to loophole. But doing that led to a vote count of 563 voters casting 711 votes. Lower quantity, but higher quality. So as you all know, the 17th prompt was a reboot of the 8th prompt. It was, write an acronym that spells out the word it's describing, with the first letters of each word, or the last letters of each word, or both. I would show you my examples, but the contestants' entries, which you're about to see now, will explain everything for themselves. And a few more things to remember. Only contestants' highest scoring entries will count, and the very lowest scoring TWOWer will be set aside for book burning in this episode. Like always, we will reveal each TWOWer's results in the order they placed last time, which means that SpicyMan33 is up first. He's the first TWOWer to be up first for this 1x1 reveal twice now. Spicy summoned the power of his hefty triple response prize to say these 3 responses, which are sorted from highest scoring to lowest scoring. Blindly attacking troops lurking everywhere, shooting highly inconsistent projectiles, standing for both Battleship in the front in red, and you guessed Gegets in the back in blue. You know, to save time, I'm not going to read the others, but yes, you are seeing a freaking Barry Scott acronym at the bottom there. Spicy gets a score of 52.50%. By the way, the horizontal axis of this graph is now representing standard deviation, so you can see that all 3 of Spicy's responses were of similar controversiality. Joseph Howard also had a triple response prize, but the best of his 3 responses was be idealistic, outdo diverseness, imagery varies, environment replete, system evolves. This is an impressive 10-letter double-sided acronym, with the front spelling biodiverse and the back spelling ecosystems. But Joseph, your sentence lengths, oof, they're not so diverse. Anyway, all 3 of Joseph's responses were jaw-dropping 10-letter double-sided acronyms, although the last one misspelled Mike Ramsey in the back. Biodiversity gets an exquisite score of 57.34%, and because you only need to beat one other TWOWer to be safe this time, Joseph, you are guaranteed a spot into the final 9. Third place Midnight Light is up next. Midnight's higher scoring entry was Pip, a level 3 nun, did refer auto, Madam Eve, which spells palindrome in the front and the back, and on top of that, every single word of this sentence is on its own a palindrome as well. This response got mixed reviews on TWOW Central, but what about in TWOW voting overall? Wow, top spot. You won! Worth peso. Joseph thrown away. Also, real big standard deviation on that one. Mr. Twister said, people outside keep every monster over nifty global objectives, which stands for both the smash hit new game Pokemon Go and Epirals, which I'm guessing is Meester's original Pokemon idea.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Epirals. Anyway, this response only had 9 words, so I would expect it to incur the wrath of simplistic voters. But it doesn't, earning a healthy score of 55.11%. Interesting how the scores so far have been placing at nearly identical distances from each other. Fifth up is Otwid Tumit Figgletam, who said, the ever-growing change humankind nurtures, outdoing leagues of generations yearly, which stands for technology. That's a pretty darn good acronym, but notice that PPCS's second acronym spells out adventures. Remember that. Ooh, 50.23%. That's still above average, and it continues the pattern of equal spacing. But it doesn't guarantee you safety yet. But the scores of your 2 entries are the closest out of everybody's so far. 3-time winner Yasoan said, softening opulence on tenderest healthful embrace, which stands for soothe in the front and gentle in the back. Although the double acronyming is super impressive, this response is only 6 words. And we haven't seen a single response this short since TWOW 8. Did voters consider you to be concise or lazy? It's time to find out. 56.90%, putting you in a comfortable 3rd place. I guess the stressed out voting republic needed a bit of gentle soothing to calm down at the end of the day. As we all know, Crafty7 coincidentally placed 7th last time. Hork, that is so funny. With a response of cool automatic learning contraption, use logarithms and trigonometry on request, standing for calculator. Will Crafty7 place 7th once again, or will the stars tragically drift out of alignment? 56.59%, earning you 4th place. We can only hope that the next 3 TWOWers all place above you, so you land right on that sweet spot 7th, Crafty. The mighty Midge, who gained both criticism and praise for his half-hearted, or perhaps poetic, country response that stood for both Azerbaijan and actually scored better with this response. Collective ownership makes many uneasy. Nevertheless, individuals share their stuff, which stands for both communists and Epsi serf, which is a term used to describe an enslaved serf with epilepsy. I guess serfs are the type of people most likely to become communists anyway, so hey, it works. What did you get? 51.85%, guaranteeing you safety. But that means Crafty7 is not getting 7th place. So sad. Now, only Tak Ajnan and Greentree have yet to place, and Otwid, Tumit, Figgletam has not been declared safe yet. Only 2 of the 3 people I just mentioned will be continuing onward in TWOW. But before we find out who, we need to listen to ads from Hurry Churi and Tantasar. Pay attention!
Do you like those redesigned books from the Final 18? Yes, of course you do. Have you ever wanted your own custom TWOW book? Yes, of course you do. But you most likely do not have the required software or talent to design your own book. But it's your lucky day, because I, Huri Churi, can make you one. If you join the TWOW Discord server, what is wrong with you if you haven't already, you can use my suggestion box to request me a custom book. That is right, your very own custom book. I have already designed over 50 books, so what are you waiting for? Huri's Custom Books. Get a book with a look. That's trademarked.
Okay, frontrunner Tak Ajnan, you haven't quite been on your top game lately, but you know what, that is fine. Your response was, also adventures? Plagiarized off of Ping Pong Cup? Otwid, Tumit, Figgletam. Gosh, that crime must have been effortless, eh? From you. Just kidding, all the entries are entered in privately, so there's no way plagiarism could have happened. But that is a crazy coincidence. Anyway, Tacky Tak, you get a score of 54.62%, which gives you a pass into TWOW's final 9. Things are not looking so good for Otwid, Tumit, You know what, this nickname is just too cumbersome, I'll just say Papux. Our current efficiency champion Greentree is the last TWOWer to rank, and either he or Papux will be leaving TWOW. It all depends on whether Greentree's response, discriminated individual souls, adored but ill, loving infallibly towards you, standing for disability, can beat the score of 50.23%. Will the addiction of placing really high due to incessant boosts, or the addiction to placing really low to be considered efficient, cause a TWOWer to overdose? Let's find out which behavior is truly more dangerous. Ping Pong Cup Shots is safe! Goodbye, Greentree. This elimination is especially painful to me, because I was on your team in TWOW Central. But I didn't show favoritism because I promised to join the team of the first person to give me a full TWOW Team Flare color key, and Greentree was legit the first person to do that. Every time another efficiency champion falls, so does my heart. Although the curse has ended your life on TWOW, it has not ended your legacy, and the saplings that follow in your footsteps will remember you forever. Last time. This time. Stats time again. Midnight Light won this time, making her the first TWOWer to win a rebooted prompt. That means Riley and Midnight Light are the first TWOW winning duo, getting first place on the same prompt, more or less. As I expected, Midnight's entry was by far the most controversial, with the Mighty Midge's country entry at second. Ping Pong Cup Shot's ultra-efficient technology response was the least controversial. Crafty7 had the highest scoring worst response, reinforcing his consistently consistent consistency. Believe it or not, eliminated Green Tree had the 5th highest scoring worst response, actually placing him in the top half of worst responses. Also, triple responses did not fare so well. Psych Ramsey. At least with Crafty's Ode to Mike Ramsey, both TWOWers eliminated in TWOW 16 got a proper acronym. I would estimate that out of the 22 entries, 14 tried to acronymize the front, 2 tried to acronymize the back, and 6 tried to do both. So at this point, 6 living TWOWers have scored a round victory, whereas 3, Crafty7, the Mighty Midge, and surprisingly our frontrunner Tak Ajnin, have not. Every round that passes, the number of the living victory list goes down by either 0, 1, or 2. But that makes me think, is Tak Ajnin really still our frontrunner? Don't get me wrong, Tak is a great TWOWer, but let's see what the TWOW predictions tell us. Whoa, look at that! For the first time since I began TWOW predictions 7 episodes ago, the top spot has finally changed. Now, if a stranger off the street were to ask me who I thought would win TWOW, I'd have to place my bets on Joseph Howard. In other news, Spicy and Papux each fell 2 ranks due to mediocre acronym scores, allowing Yasoan, Crafty, Midnight, and Meester to rise. And if we really want to brand a new efficiency champion, if we really want to do that, well, there's no clear outlier when it comes to the predictions. The bottom 3 are all pretty much neck and neck. But if you sort TWOWers by their best ranks so far, well, then it's a different picture. The Mighty Midge is the only living TWOWer to have never ranked in the top 6, yet alone the top 3.
You're not supposed to be infecting people with efficiency curses!
You're right. And besides, the Mighty Midge's alter ego Sam Billinge has reached 2nd place in the past. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. Anyway, these are our final 9 TWOWers, who will now deal with TWOW's 18th prompt. What is it? Well, after seeing how close the top 2 prompts scored last time, I feel like 2nd place prompt TWOW 9, aka the parentheses one, deserved a little bit of recognition. So, it's time to reveal the 18th prompt, recommended by Michael. I know how much you guys like Michael's prompts, but seriously, this one's good. Write a response of up to 10 words that completely changes meaning if you read only the stuff inside parentheses or only the stuff outside parentheses. So, a cool example might be, I'll give your mom the ride to the store file rooms. You can read it just as I said it, or you can read just the stuff in the parentheses, give your mom the ID to the room, or you can read just the stuff outside the parentheses, I'll restore files. As you can see, letters, spaces, and full words can be inside or outside parentheses, and you can use as many parentheses as you would like. The goal is to create 3 coherent stories, one on the inside, one on the outside, and one of both. Hopefully, they'll all have different meanings. And as always, if you have to go under 10 words, that's okay. I'll also be okay with sacrificing spelling or grammar to create a more clever intertwining of parentheses. So remaining TWOWers, as we leap into TWOW 18, submit your responses to me, Carrie KH, via YouTube PM by August 9, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. Everybody can submit 2 responses to this prompt, and Midnight Light, you can submit 3. In TWOW 18, only the best scoring one will count, and the TWOWer with the lowest score will be eliminated. See you then! Actually, a few more things. Here's an audio confessional from Harry M.
Hello, TWOWers, viewers, and everyone else out there. I am Harry M, and I am one of the great members of the TWOW Discord chat. I really like TWOW, and I wish good luck to all the people that are in the top 8. Or is it currently top 10? I don't think top 8 has been revealed yet. I'm not sure. Well, anyways, good luck!
That was nice, Harry, but from now on, I'm not going to be accepting any audio confessionals anymore. Please send text, it's just so much easier to deal with. Also, I said that once we reached Final 9, we could have TWOW Sudoku. Well, that'll come in TWOW 18A, but for now, you can look at this huge Sudoku puzzle I made as a Christmas present in 2010, but the recipient never solved it. I was rushed, so it might not even be possible. But also, here's a Happy Hanukkah Sudoku even though it's not Hanukkah. Images in the description. Bye.
This is Mr. Twister, and welcome to TWOW from the Olympic Games!
Hey, TWOWers, and welcome to the first ever low budget TWOW episode. Yay! Low budget TWOW episode. So the reason I'm doing this is because I just realized there's no humanly possible way I can get all the projects I want to do done if I spend so much work on each one. 12 episodes now take me like 2 to 3 days, which is not the original intention. The original intention was for TWOW to be simple and easy. So I'm just going to record myself live, talking about everything. In a TWOW video, the only thing I have to show you besides the actual voting screens themselves is the TWOWers confessionals. So let's just go through those right now. We've got our final 9 TWOWers, here they are. You all know them. To shake things up, let's start from the back of the alphabet with Yosoen, so that Crafty7 isn't always first. So here we have Yosoen. As you can see, Yosoen updated his book, Refining the Dye book thingy, and I heard it was done by Lauren Teasel, something like that. So yeah, pretty cool, and his confessional is, whoa, final 9? That's amazing! Oh, it's right here. Thanks to Lauren Teasel for updating my rulebook. It contains all the secrets for amazing responses. Winky face! Okay, so that's Yosoen. Next we've got Tak Ajnan, who said, oh man, what a prompt. I guess these are the skills you need to get into the top 8. Kudos to everyone who made a good 3-story response. And then here's the Mighty Midge. The Mighty Midge didn't have a book change or a confessional, but I did get carried away with the copying and pasting because it's so easy. Next we've got SpicyMan33, who has a totally reasonable length confessional right here. Should I really read it? Okay, anyway. Hey, so recently, I caught wind that Crafty was planning on writing off of my salty confessional about Midnight Light's winning response, or something like that. Well, fun fact, said confessional never existed, and will never exist. I was playing up the palindrome hate the whole time. You just got pranked. I guess we did get pranked. But this confessional is too long, so I'm just going to read every other word to save time. Anyways, I'm feeling extremely about I things say. Of I'd to disprove rumor I midnight or because completely utterly I'd myself with about of top at those are. Seriously, stop like hate or please. Congrats her too. I that one ever confessionals shout. So shout time I shout to Dwy stalemate. Oh, this isn't fair because of the people. I'll just say them all. Chi-Chi Nits, Dwy, Zane, Stalemate, Gabe, Voldemort, Paradox Enon, Florg, Riley by her single, Green Tree and Nerd, and Joseph Howard. Also, soon be already birthdays. Oh, here's another place. Jumatalk, August 7th, happy belated birthday. Ping Pong Cup Shots, 9th, happy belated birthday also. And Jennings as yet untitled, 22nd, happy upcoming birthday. I those all and legit from mentions. Been episodes Jumatalk her one all. Hey Jumatalk, get some more mentions right now, Jumatalk. I know you can do it, Jumatalk. Feel to this, my has on enough. I'd also to a out you, honestly. These done, been its wonder mine, many I favorite I seriously. Almost how work can from to amazing races evolution Karelix to the that mere ago you seemingly with forever. Actually wonderful. Interactive are the despite. Sometimes and demands criticism whatever hell. As writing this you've elemental and been adjust and some important even the craziness happened. Up, great. And for such quality on a scale. Because I was focusing so much on reading the individual words, I actually didn't get the message quite across, so let me just read it now. Okay, so thank you SpicyMan33 for all the support. I'm so flattered that you called me your favorite YouTuber, but I do realize that I am carrying a bunch of projects all at once. And it's because I think all of them deserve some time in the spotlight. I mean, if I had to choose to abandon one of them, I really couldn't because then I would be thinking about that one all the time. So yeah, amazingly written confessional by SpicyMan33, condensed by me. Next we've got Riley, who shouldn't really deserve a confessional because she's not still in, but I let her do it anyway because she was a surrogate again for Ping Pong Cup Shots. So her book no longer has blood because she cleaned up a little, and I think she has a microphone because Riley is releasing a single, which you all must buy if you want to be part of TWOW Season 2. Her confessional is love you all, good luck to the final 9. Where's the final 9? Final 9. And win this for Team Papux. So I guess we have a Team Papux fan who's right here. Papux says, I'm sorry, Green Tree. I didn't want it to come down to one of us needing to eliminate the other, but I'm happy that you're relieved that you don't have to worry about the stress of TWOW anymore, at least. Oh, and also, it was my birthday on the 9th of August, so happy birthday me. Yes, happy birthday you! And there's a book change as well, with this bottle of... Oh, Boostaholic! I did not know what that was until just now. So yeah, we got another birthday TWOWer, amazing. Up next is Mr. Twister, who had a very slight change to his book, but I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. Plus, there's a video confessional, which I'll play right now. Joseph Howard didn't have either, so we're gonna skip him, but we get tons of his books because he is super cool. And then, finally, we have Crafty7, who usually leads the confessionals, but now he'll be the grand finale. Okay, Carrie. No more confessional shenanigans, maybe. By the way, I've had 3 typos across all my TWOW confesses. Well, I haven't noticed them, but here's one of them. This is confessional, spelled like this, you spelling moron. Oh my gosh, I gotta stop myself. I triple checked this one. Oh, did you now? Oh shoot, I make typos too. Congrats to Midnight on her win. Although some aggravated, annoyed, and spicy people are mad at the voters, well, you know what's up with that. To Tak and Midge, we gotta win this round. The victory list shall prevail. Well, technically, if you win this round, you will no longer be part of the victory list, so the victory list won't prevail, but whatever. Miss you, Greenie. Green Tree, I miss you too. It seems like you're getting a lot of support from your fellow TWOWer friends. And then finally, here's the final 9 TWOWers, just showing you how many responses they were given for TWOW 19, or 18. And let me show you what the TWOW 18 prompt was. I actually got a lot of criticism for this prompt for being too difficult. It was, write a response of up to 10 words where, I don't know this verbatim, but I'll say where there's 3 different messages for if you read everything, just the stuff inside parentheses, and just the stuff outside parentheses. So yeah, that's the prompt more or less, if I can type this correctly. And everyone agreed that this was too hard for a 12 prompt, and I misjudged, and I didn't realize that it was so difficult. So I have a slight modification, which I think all you voters should know before you vote, because otherwise you'll be voting some responses down. And the modification is, we're going to say, or just do the TWOW 9 prompt, which is the same thing, except we don't care about the outside parentheses part. It's just reading everything versus just reading the stuff inside parentheses. So this is the TWOW 18 prompt. And if they choose the second prompt, there will be an asterisk at the end. And realize that both of these should be judged on equal grounds. Don't downvote something just because they chose the bottom half, because I gave them the second option like a few days in, so there was a kind of a time crunch. So yeah, there's 2 different options. One of them is all 3 different stories, everything inside outside. The other option is just everything inside, and that one will have an asterisk. So now it's time to actually show you the TWOW 19 responses. So here's a little graphic of a guy saying, oh, here's the TWOW 18 entries, and there's 19 of them, which is pretty close in number actually. So let's let the voters enter. Anyway, let's open the gates.
Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once.
This cool TWOW intro is by Diamond Cup 67. Oh yeah, we twowin', as long as time's allowin'.
You better stop right now.
I'm sorry, orange thing. Okay, so since IDFB 1 is done, go check it out. We can finally do TWOW 18B. That amazing intro was made by former TWOWer Hazel Cricket and Lauren. First, some things I forgot to mention in previous episodes. Green Tree got eliminated last time. Well, it turns out he was our last TWOW god, which means TWOW has gone atheistic. Pretty crazy considering that there were 4 gods in the final 19. And now we have 0 in the final 9. Secondly, the super sudoku I showed you in TWOW 17B had contradictions, making it unsolvable. What a tragedy. Our 3-time winning TWOWer Yosoen fixed it, so now you can actually try to solve a working super sudoku by going to the link in the description. Since it's been so long since the last episode, you might need a refresher. The heavily criticized 18th TWOW prompt was to either A. Write a response that contains different stories if you read just the stuff inside parentheses, just the stuff outside parentheses, or everything. Or B. Write a response that contains different stories if you read just the stuff outside parentheses, or everything. And add an asterisk to the end. This was my example. I'll give your mom the ride to the store file rooms. Give your mom the ID to the room. I'll restore files. This prompt was kinda complicated and perhaps not the best, but TWOW is an experiment, it's not supposed to be perfect, blah blah blah. Our final 9 TWOWers, otherwise known as 90s kids, struggled with this prompt, especially Pickyberry Scootpois, but they all managed to submit 2 responses. As a prize for getting first place last time, Midnight Light had 3 responses. And yeah, the TWOWer with the lowest scoring top response will be eliminated from this first TWOW saga. So last time, even with Mr. Twister's wonderful face, our low budget episode was not enough to keep many voters' attention, so the vote counts went down a bit. 388 voters cast 464 votes. But hey, what can you do? At least IDFB will get a ton of
Stay on topic.
You know how we do it. We'll reveal how each TWOWer did in the order they placed last time. So ambidextrously palindromically acronymizing Master Midnight Light is up first. Of her 3 responses, drugstore food consumers die young, it's horrible, unhealthy, and sickening, did the best. It also reads as, drug consumers die young, and store food, it's horrible, unhealthy, and sickening. So while it looks like consuming food from drugstores, or just drugs in general, will kill you, the drugs aren't horrible, unhealthy, and sickening. Why? Because they're dope. Just kidding, don't do drugs, you infantile homo sapiens. Back on track now. Midnight, you get a score of 50.54%. That seems pretty good. But remember that Green Tree got eliminated last time with a score of 49.89, so we really don't know what'll happen this time. Also, I can see your palindromic victory inspired you to try palindromes again, with "It's a palindrome," describing the palindrome, "Was it a rat I saw?" However, the combination of the two was a bit hard to understand, so it only got a 32. That's sub-Corby, but not sub-Alex. Puzzle competition runner Joseph Howard got second place last time and is up next. At this point, I can't tell if Spicy actually wanted Joseph to win last time or not. Here's Joho's top response. Listen, you. Read when the parenthesis happens. What? Look backwards? Reading only the outer stuff, we get, read the parenthesis backwards. So both of these are telling us to read the stuff in parentheses backwards. When we do that, we get, look what happens when you listen. Pretty impressive, but Joho, you will probably do worse than AN9K because you use the singular form of parenthesis when there's clearly 6 of them. What? You win. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the highest raw score anybody's ever gotten since TWOW 4.
But what about Chi-Chi, JG, and Pee-Pee in TWOW 9?
You absent-mindedly ask. Little child, that was when Ping Pong Cup Shots was addicted to boosts. We don't talk about that depressing time.
You mean with Tumid Figgleton?
Oh look, it's time for never-ending nap time for you! Bookholding Book Yasoan said, there is no intelligent solutions in teamwork in most cases. Well, it looks like there is no intelligent solutions in Yasoan work in this case, because it's there are no intelligent solutions, not there is no intelligent solutions. But in all honesty, the 2 other sentences are pretty clever. There's no I in team, and intelligent solutions work in most cases. Let's see how Yasoan did. %59.63%. That actually ties Midnight's winning percentage from last time, but you didn't win this time because you were overshadowed by the acidic/basic measure of Jose. Let's get to the consistency master faster than the Chernobyl disaster. Here's a raster of the plaster in Lancaster.
For someone wanting to go fast, you're going really slow.
Okay, you're right. Crappy7 said, Heritage, you're internationally all different. You come from different places. And tag, you're it. Yay! And because there's an asterisk, that's it. Nice and simple. How did Crafty do? Oh my gosh! Crafty7's score is made up of 2 multiples of 7, 42 and 35. The stars have truly aligned, and I can barely hold back tears. Oh, and Crafty, people have survived with lower scores in the past, so we don't quite know whether you're safe or not yet. 2-time Zombie and Victor Mr. Twister had this to say. Initially, the hockey team was deadly cold inside the rink. Now, because I made a mistake of stating whether the asterisk means you read only the stuff inside or outside the parentheses, I will accept both. In this case, Meester's second sentence was inside. I am dead inside. Aw, I hope that's not true, Meester. Big shining stars like you aren't dead until they go supernova. And that hasn't happened to you yet, right? Anyway, to be safe, you just need to beat 1 person. Can you do it? You can! With a score of 49.86%, you are a member of the Final 8. Former frontrunner Tak Ajnan gave us this message. Please do not read the inside, just read the outside. Okay. Do not read the outside. But you just told me to. Whatever, I'll read the inside. Please read the inside. Whoa, that was cool. But your second response makes me feel really bad. I'm not torturing you twowers, am I? Because if I am, well...
Let the suffering continue!
Wow, a nice meaty 66.81%, which would be a clear victory if it weren't for Joseph. You said you needed help in your second response, but clearly you don't. Up next is freaking Picky Berry Scootpois, who tried to get this prompt changed. He was partially successful, since I added the whole asterisk thing. Spicy said, secretly carry these 30-something sweet strawberry flowers from the plane, which is oddly specific. I don't know why you'd ever want to say something like, oh. Well, that's 2 twowers accusing me of hurting them. Tell you what, if you feel pain from TWOW, just submit the word the 10 times in a row. Voters, if you see that, vote it to the top. There you go, a stress-free way to win at TWOW, no pain required. See how nice I am? Spicyman33 gets 53.12% and is safe. 8th up is the Muddy Midge, who I labeled as our new efficiency champion last time. I can't think of many efficiency champions who have survived an episode after being announced. So let's see if the Muddy Midge can do it with his response. Sometimes my opinions can upset people. WoW is totally irrational. which also includes sometimes my onions can upset people, wow, and pie is totally irrational. Are you saying World of Warcraft is irrational? Because if you are, I wouldn't really know because I don't play that game. I'm sensing a bit of Spicy's onion response and Sumner the Pie Guy's pie-ness in here. But how do you do? (52.53%), meaning you're safe. At this point, Crafty7 hasn't been declared safe yet, and only Ping Pong Cupshot's score has yet to be revealed. One of those two TWOWers will survive, and the other will go away forever. Papuk's response, which was again submitted through Mother Riley, was, I don't underestimate the strange and complex prompts of difficulty, which also includes, I don't understand complex prompts, and estimate the range of difficulty. Well, Figgletam, it appears like you did understand this complex prompt, because your entry works pretty well. Did you beat Crafty's score of 42.35%? Or are you the next TWOWer to fall? I mean, you did get pretty close last time, so let's see the results. Goodbye, Crafty7. You were definitely one of the most reliable players of TWOW, placing below 50% only twice, in TWOW 1 and now. You were such a dependable TWOWer that you were often the second least likely TWOWer to be eliminated, or the second most likely TWOWer to join the top 10. Alas, you are the least likely Final 9 TWOWer to join the top 8, with a low probability of 0.000%. You and your lovely tennis ball will be missed. Also, Crafty7 had this eulogy for himself. Can you even write a eulogy for yourself? Whatever, here it is. I guess being consistent doesn't work all the time. Oh well, I was really looking forward to competing more in TWOW, but my time has been cut short. It was still such a cool opportunity, and I met some really neat people along the way. Yasoan and Joseph Howard, I'm rooting for you two. Although it's hard to not support everyone because we've gotten so close. I was nervous about this episode from the start. I always thought my responses were pretty bad. Spiky and I were pretty anxious, and we thought we'd be out. Well, I guess you were wrong, Spiky, because I'm the one who took the loser rock fall. Anyway, thank you so much, Carrie, for putting in those hours working on TWOW to make it an amazing series and one that I will continue to watch. To hashtag Team Crafty People, I'm sorry I let you down, frowny face with cold sore. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you in Season 2 from the Craftinator. Okay, statistics time, but let's make it fast. Joseph Howard won this time with a crazy voter rating distribution. Tak Ajnin managed to get both responses in the top 5, so he's still kind of a front runner, while Crafty7 and Midnight Light each got 2 responses in the bottom 5. In fact, Midnight Light had both of the 2 lowest scoring responses, a feat that was also achieved by only one other TWOWer, Sumner the Pie Guy. Wait, hold on. They also both like math, both have a geometric icon in their upper left, and both have the initials ML. Seriously, this is getting too spooky. Midnight Light and Sumnerd must be the same person. Mr. Tweezer's entry on Spicy Man Tootpois was the most controversial, but Spicy Man Tootpois himself had the least controversial entry. I had some bowls of Leering Pho today. Dream opportunity. But seriously, what the heck is Leering Pho? In the end, 5 of 19 entries used the asterisk, which makes sense because I introduced that option pretty late. In general, using an asterisk hurt you. Asterisked entries scored 47.98% on average. Okay, on to 12 predictions. Crafty7 always liked these probability density curves, so I'm gonna put one here, kind of as a final death wish. Happy Crafty! By snatching his second round victory, Joseph Howard gained another 5 points to now have a 26% chance of winning TWOW. So 3 of the final 8 TWOWers kinda start with M, but the 2 true M TWOWers, Meester and Midnight, were the only TWOWers whose chances of winnings fell this time, besides Crafty, of course. Here's another interesting stat. In most dictionaries, the midpoint is probably in the L's. Using that definition of splitting the alphabet in half, there is currently only 1 living TWOWer in the first half, Joseph Howard, and 7 in the second half. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. So you final 8 TWOWers, ready for TWOW 19? I've received one quatordicillion complaints that TWOW is getting too technical, puzzly, and in general just difficult recently. Let's just say that it's because of familial problems. But anyway, I decided we should go way over to the opposite end of the spectrum for TWOW 19's prompt. What is it? Well, dumb questions often have smart answers. What is the speed of dark? That's it. That's the prompt. No strings attached. 80s kids, you can each send in 2 responses to this prompt to me, Carrie KH, via YouTube PM by September 8, 2016 at 10 PM UTC, which is over a month since TWOW 17B. Wow, I'm making TWOW so slowly. Also, something quite poppin' is coming out on September 8 as well. Oh, and Joseph Howard, you can submit 3 responses, making you the first TWOWer to get to do that twice. Voters, in TWOW 19A, you'll be able to vote on those responses anonymously, and in TWOW 19B, the TWOWer with the worst top response will enter the darkness whose speed they've been describing forever. See you then! Hello everybody, welcome to episode 19A of 10 Words of Wisdom, the best competition of anthropomorphized books on YouTube. Now, before you guys complain about how long the gap was between the last episode and this one, I was actually waiting for our TWOWers to finish submitting their responses up until yesterday, so it's not my fault. I think TWOW episodes will have strict deadlines from here on out. What? Crafty7 is still bouncing? Let's fix this. Tennis ball has a magnet, right? So if I put another magnet here... It twerked! In this episode, our final 8 TWOWers, out of the original 491, responded to the 19th TWOW prompt, what is the speed of dark? And yes, I know, it should technically be what is the speed of darkness. But hey, I was trying to be succinct. And besides, this opens it up to interpretation more. And also, yes, this was the title of a Vsauce video, but that's just a coincidence. I mean, you can't claim ownership of a 6-word sentence, but you can claim ownership of a 10-word sentence. So first off, previously eliminated TWOWer Subnerd the Pie Guy has a news report, but it wasn't just good old Pie who voiced it. Using the magic of unpaid child labor, Hurry Churi, LP Carver, Tantasar, and It's Sean were also persuaded to contribute.
Hey guys, it's Sean here!
And I'm Tad, sir.
And I'm here to give you an overview of recent statistics and spreadsheet news on behalf of Sumner the Pie Guy.
After 1218B, Spicy is above Tak Hatchinen on the mentions list, with Spicy at 65 and Tak at 59. Spicy is now the most relevant.
Joho continues to soar above Tak Ajinen in normalized ranks.
SNTPG is adding non-TWOW mentions to the spreadsheet, so you can help him out by PMing him on the Discord if you've been mentioned in the past.
Hey, it's LP Carver. I just want to say that Hurry...
That's me!
...created No Man's Land again. The link is in the main sheet, and go check it out.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy the episode.
Great report, guys! It was quite twitchy, but that's not swearing! Okay, onto confessionals. Mr. Tweezer, you had a very specific book change. A random pixel on your glasses darkened by 1%. I do want to respect every TWOWer's requests, so I'll do my best. This black pixel here, which has an RGB value of 000, will be lowered by 1% to 000. Amazing! MT also had a criminally long confessional again. Kings and queens of TWOW, gather round. For my birthday is this September 27th. I'm planning to fill myself with my birthday yoil cake, then submit it for the TWOW episode following my birthday. I want to place first in TWOW, but isn't it so great to reach the final 8? 8 is also the first number that comes in the dictionary.
What about 1 billion?
Fame is something I've always dreamed of, and TWOW making me a minor celebrity makes me really happy. Every time someone replies to me on a website, I get a message. Sometimes I won't have time to personally respond to everyone, but I still love every one of my fans. It's reassuring to know that some people will back me up no matter how behind I may be. Go #Team Meester! Cypher confessionals are something I'd like to try, so I made this puzzle for everyone. A hint is hidden somewhere in this confessional if you are stuck. I made it difficult, but not impossible. Good luck! So yeah, do that puzzle. Congrats if you get it! Up next is Midnight Light, whose name suggests she'll be good with discussing the speed of darkness. She said, "Yay, Final 8! I genuinely can't believe I made it this far. Thanks to everyone who's supporting me. It means so much." On a sadder note, I'm so sad Crafty's gone. He was one of my favorites. Well, good luck everyone. This prompt will definitely have some interesting answers. Thanks, Midnight. And yes, interesting answers we did indeed get. Sentence patterns like this I do indeed dislike. Next, Lauren made this higher resolution image of ping pong cup shots, who said, "Top 8, mates. After a great long wait, TWOW continues to depopulate. We're fresher than wet paint made of polyvinyl acetate. But as we aspirate to make our way, we must sadly say our goodbyes to the one and only Crafty 8-8/8. Goodbye, Crafty 7. It was a pleasure competing against you." Well, Crafty, despite your elimination, it looks like you bounced right back into people's memories. SpicyMan33 had this image confessional, which seems out of date because it's still asking Joseph Howard to join the Discord, which he already did. Also, was it actually created by Hazel Cricket? Impersonation is unacceptable and will result in head removal. Our two T-Twowers didn't have confessionals, so all we've got left is Yasoan, who wanted to say, "Crafty, no! I shall avenge you, somehow." I guess that's not how this works. Book level 2, courtesy of Crafty Power. What is that book, you might ask? It's this, which references Crafty 7, SpicyMan33, Taupon H6427, and many others. Although, Yasoan just said, swap it out for the current one. I don't know whether that means Yasoan wants his book to just be holding this book, or if this should be his entire book. For now, I'll make it his entire book. Yasoan, if this isn't what you want, you can just let me know. Enough with the confessionals, it's time for voting. If it's currently before September 26th, 2016 at 10 PM UTC, you guys can cast your ballots. You're voting on how masterfully these entries responded to the prompt, "What is the speed of dark?"
Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once.
Finally, here are the 17, 12, 19 entries. None of them were really that stellar, because they're all talking about darkness! see you in TWOW 19B, when the highest voted TWOWer gets a triple response prize and the lowest voted TWOWer kicks the bucket, leaving us with our sacred 7. You could celebrate one on each day of the week. Okay, bye.
Hi, this is 10 Words of Wisdom 19B. Are you confused? Don't worry. I know a lot of viewers are out of the loop because last episode, somebody commented saying they'd like to participate, but didn't even know what TWOW was, and it got around 20 likes. If you want the full rundown of what TWOW is, you can watch TWOW 0A, just like you could have before commenting you were confused, but the TWOW is this. 10 Words of Wisdom is a competition on YouTube where I'm the host and the 491 people who signed up in December are the contestants. I haven't decided what the winner will win yet, but I say they win wisdom. I announce a prompt, like, what happened to the 31st of November? All eligible contestants respond to me privately in 10 words or fewer. I collect the responses and then, in the A part of each episode, show them to the viewers anonymously and randomly. The viewers rank them from best to worst, aka first to 10th. In the B part of each episode, the voting results are revealed, and the 20% of contestants with the worst voted responses are eliminated. Then the cycle repeats. As of now, TWOW has gone from 491 contestants down to 8, and we're eliminating them one at a time for suspense. But once a winner is declared and Season 1 ends, Season 2 will begin on its own website, and absolutely everyone can join as a contestant. Okay, now you're caught up. On an unrelated note, I'd like to thank everybody who showed up to our BFDI meetup in New York City, which was a blast. A Jack and Jellyfy video about it will probably come out soon. And yes, you caught me dabbing.
Oh no, dude, you're not supposed to look at this.
But it's not my fault. Somebody else asked me to do it. You know who you are. And also, I never mentioned that scrumptious former TWOWer Jennings as yet untitled named this cool guy Scary Carrie and wants credit. Thanks, Jennings. Scary Carrie appreciates your contributions. Also, TWOW was the first to do something that I'm still trying to keep secret for now until I finish the final version of it. So TWOW, you'll just have to wait until then for your full achievement recognition. Anyway, back to 10 Words of Wisdom. TWOW's 19th prompt was, what is the speed of dark? To which our 8 remaining TWOWers sent in 17 shady responses. 899 voters cast 1,066 votes, which is honestly a lot. Like, a lot! That's the most voters ever, even more than TWOW won. But it's not the most votes ever, because, shiny cowards whiny powers. But thanks for voting so much, TWOWdience. I wonder if we can hit 1,000 voters next time. So like always, we will reveal how each TWOWer did in the order they placed last time. In the horrendously complex TWOW 18, Joseph Howard placed first, which means he got to submit 3 responses. His best scoring response was a pun. I would answer, but these physics are a dark matter. Ha ha ha, so funny. I'm dying, but I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I asked you voters how marvelous you thought this pun was, and you said... 57.98%. I'm so sad, because Joseph did so well by not answering the question I gave him. Why? I wanted to know your answer, Joseph. Why do you do this to me? Why do you leave me in the dark?
Kill me.
Up second is former frontrunner Tak Ajnan, whose book avatar is the least dark of the bunch. What did Tak think is the speed of dark? Darkness travels the exact same speed as light, only backwards. Okay, straight to the point, I see. Like a ninja, you don't waste time with distractions. Anyway, voters thought your response was better than... .12% of other responses. That's higher than average, but not too great. In other news, pun offender Joseph Howard just earned a spot into the final 7. Next, we've got Ping Pong Cupshots, who's tragically struggling with an addiction to boosts at the early age of 13. The last few boost-free episodes have been rehab, which I hope has helped. Papuk said, darkness and light both travel at 299,792,455 meters per second. See the similarities? In Otwit Tumit Figgletam's original PM to me, he had quotes around the C to show off yet another pun, since C represents the speed of light. But he used curly quotes, which don't exist in the font I'm using. So sorry, but I warned you before. Hopefully that didn't hurt your score too much, Shing Kong Pup Pots. Let's find out. At 50.54%, you are safe, but only by a cat's hair. 3-time victor Yosoen has gotten ultra-violent on us with this hyper-aggressive taunt that is a danger to all kids in the world ever. Depends on how quickly I can knock your lights out. This blatant death threat, along with the fact that the small book he's holding essentially says die on its cover, pretty much ensures that this will get no support from rational voters out there, right? Wrong. With a score of 52.29%, Yosoen actually does better than the majority of other TWOWers so far. At this point, it's pretty clear that another member of the MST Alliance will be going home, because Tak Ajnan hasn't placed high enough to be declared safe yet, and only Spicy, Midge, Midnight, and Meester have yet to be revealed. So it looks like the Joe Ping Soen minority weathers the storm for one more day. Fifth up is SpicyMan33, who... I'm just too tired to come up with a new nickname for. He said, try saying dark. It's pretty short, thus, about a second. I mean, I get what your point is, but a second is a pretty long time. Let me try saying dark. Dark. Wow, 0.49 seconds? I must be the world record fastest dark sayer ever. Anyway, super slow dark sayer, I mean SpicyMan33, gets a score of 57.45%, giving him a comfortable spot in the final 7, where he can spend his days saying dark painfully slowly. Dark. Sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away, aren't I? But not as carried away as Sam Billinge, who is being carried way up by the Mighty Midge. Our most recent efficiency champion, the Mighty Midge, said, usually 3 to 5 working days, but the postage system is unreliable. Wow, that's the slowest description of dark so far. Almost as slow as Spicy saying dark. Dang it, I gotta stop. Anyway, the Mighty Midge, what score did you get? 54.06%, which means you're safe. We're getting our 2 British TWOWers back to back, which means 7th up is Midnight Light. Midnight was the only TWOWer to attempt writing the word the 10 times as I suggested. The mathematicians, the seas, the orais, mathematically, the orais, the orams, the the refor, hypothesize, 299,792,458 meters per second. I'm kinda sad no TWOWers submitted just 10 these and nothing else. But Midnight, you get bonus points for getting the closest. Oh, not real bonus points, just figurative ones. I don't want you getting addicted to boosts like Papux. Anyway, Midnight, the voters thought your response should get a score of
51.82%, earning you a comfy chair in the final 7 room. And now, we've reached our final TWOWer, Mr. Twister. Either he or Tech Ajnan will be exiting the TWOWniverse today, all depending on whether or not Mr. can beat Tech Ajnan's score of 50.12%. Who played the better game? The epitome of stealth and invisibility, or the epitome of light to give us visibility? Well, to find out, we gotta look at Mr's response. 125, the base speed of the fastest Dark-type Pokemon, Darkrai. And just like Papux, Mr used a special character, an accented E in Pokemon, which caused some errors in my response collection program. I warned you guys, don't use anything outside of ASCII just to be safe. But back to the reveal. Mr. Twister, your TWOW 19 score is... Just a second, I need to show you an advertisement for former TWOWer Crafty7's YouTube competition, the Puffball Games, created by other former TWOWer Tantasar Dean Pizza. Okay, we're back. And Mr's final score is... 57.54%. Might you have gotten first if you'd used a normal E? Maybe, maybe not. We'll never know. But we do know that Tech Ajnan must sadly leave TWOW now. Goodbye, Tak. It's such a shock to see you leave so early, considering that for a good chunk of the TWOW mid-game, you were by far the strongest player. You can depart, knowing that you changed the game of 10 Words of Wisdom forever. People will study your strategy, wondering how you pulled so far ahead of everyone else, despite rarely using puns and never scoring an individual leg victory. You truly were a ninja, Cat, but the last of your 9 lives is tragically ending now. Okay, stats time. Joseph Howard won this time, making him the first TWOWer to win twice in a row ever. Can he go for the triple whammy? We'll find out soon. That also means Yasoan's not the only 3-time victor anymore. While we're on the topic of number of leg victories, let's take a look at the Mighty Midge. With the departure of Tech Ajnan, he's become the only living TWOWer who hasn't gotten a leg victory yet. That means the efficiency curse is still upon you, Midge. The TWOW predictions sort of agree with that, but sort of don't. I mean, just look at how similar the bottom 3's chances are for being eliminated next. It's pretty much neck and neck. Oh, and as expected, Joho surged another 9 points to now have a 36% chance of winning TWOW, which is starting to rival Tak's historic 44% from TWOW 11. Back to the results page. The winning percentile, 57.98%, is the lowest we've ever seen, which means the competition is narrowing. Midnight Light's VVV response was unsurprisingly the most controversial, but Xing's response got a close second. It looks like flashing the massive 9-digit number to the unsuspecting crowd either bedazzles or frazzles them. Boringly straightforward answers found themselves at the bottom of the leaderboard, and the least controversial, with Mr. Twister's response having the lowest standard deviation.
To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts.
I mean, you guys did ask me to re-record that, so... Time for a prompt! The 20th TWOW prompt is, what rank should voters give your entry? It's as simple as that.
Idiot. Everybody's just gonna say, please rank this entry first.
I mean, yeah, they could do that, but voters, you can choose to listen to what the entries say, but you can also choose not to. Maybe you value obedience, but maybe you value rebellion. Perhaps you like originality, and will respect the entry that asks for a rank that nobody else is asking for. So, remaining 7 TWOWers, who can now be celebrated on each day of the week, you've got a tough decision to make. Which rank will you request, and how will you make that plea for that rank? You can each submit 2 responses, and Joseph Howard, for placing first, you get to submit 3. Only the best scoring one will count. You have until October 21, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. This time, no extensions. If you don't submit by then,
I will, no joke, eliminate you. You might be like, "Oh, Carrie's such a filthy hypocrite. You took over 2 weeks to make your 12 video, but you punished us for taking more than 4 days?" Well, let me just remind you that making a TWOW episode takes like 100 times more work than writing a few 10-word responses. I mean, how many words have I said in this episode alone? Can somebody count? It must be over 1,000, and that's not including the animation and post-production. Anyway, see you in TWOW 20A, when all you viewers get to vote on our final 7 TWOWers responses, and you'll get to listen to former TWOWer Riley's new single.
Freaking fan art. Oh.
Also, these 10 words of wisdom videos take a lot of work, especially for a single person. I do all the writing, recording, animating, programming, data visualization, response collection, and editing. So, if you'd like to help me out a bit, why not support me on Patreon? Only donate money if you want to, and even if you don't, these videos will be here for everyone for free. But I'll thank you so much if you do pitch in, because as a college student, I don't have a real job with an income. So yeah, link to that is in the description. Bye! Welcome to TWOW 20A. To anybody who doesn't know what 10 Words of Wisdom is, just go watch TWOW 0A, link in the description. I can't explain it every time. If you want to skip advertisements and confessionals, as always, go to 634. So if you're all caught up on TWOW, are you bitter that there was a 24-day gap between TWOW episodes? That means you're TWOW bitter. TWOW bitter? That's right, I've got a Twitter. Go follow me at the link in the description. Is that what Twitterers say? I think it is. Speaking of Twitter accounts, former TWOWers Hazel Cricket and Jumma Talk both have Twitter accounts that you should go also follow. Warning, Jumma Talk's Twitter exposes people a lot, so it might contain non-kid friendly language. Also, do you know about that place where you can chat with other people live about 10 Words of Wisdom, Battle for Dream Island, and anything else? Well, if you go there, you can also find a link to help count IDFB votes. You might have to ask around a bit to find the actual vote counter though. Back to TWOW matters. Here's a list of our final 7 TWOWers. Since it's Thursday, we should be celebrating the mighty Midge today. Yay Midge! Yay Midge! And yes, I know, it would make so much more sense if Sunny Mr. Twister had Sunday and Moony Midnight Light had Monday. But hey, I didn't determine how the TWOWers would rank, they did. So here are some things I forgot to mention last time. Tak Ashnan was the first TWOWer to be eliminated with a score above 50%, beating Green Tree's 49.89% as the highest percentile to be eliminated at. Being eliminated while above average might seem like an impossible occurrence, but everybody's double or triple response prizes make that not so unlikely, actually. And then also, 6 out of 9 extra responses placed below the elimination threshold in TWOW 19, which is unusually high. Next, I gotta mention that SpicyMan33 has this playlist of all the music used in the background of TWOW videos. Go check it out! Also, remember how I wondered how many words I said in TWOW 19B? Well, in an act of pure TWOW termination, Ollie Knott transcribed all of TWOW 19B to get the total word count. It's 2,180, more than twice of my prediction of 1,000. I wonder how this episode compares to that. Just kidding, you don't have to tally this one too. Last episode's prompt was probably the most advertiser-esque prompt so far. What rank should voters give your entry? Over the course of 4 days, I received 15 shameless entries, which were carefully crafted by 7 final TWOWers. But before we get to those entries, we gotta listen to each TWOWer's confessional. Joho still will lay way low though, as lads wheeze he's done confess less. That means no confessional. Mr. Twister wanted me to add these Halloween glasses to his book, but sadly, due to delays, Halloween has passed. And I ain't acting as your fill bucket tool. You know what? If you ask for my service, you're gonna get my service. There. In his confessional, MT said, "Hi Sean. Everyone, sing Puttin' on the Ritz to Spicy Man 33. Especially the version 1 sung by Taco. Taco the 1980s musician, not the I character. Which, I guess you can do if you really want to." Meester also acknowledged Astigmatify and Vincent Sin for solving his cryptography puzzle, which he explained the solution to. Finally, he said thanks to recently eliminated Tak Ajnin. Nothing. Oh, and one last thing from Meester, he wanted to show you this. Next, Midnight Light darkened her book a bit to match the Halloween theme, but promptly speaking, wouldn't that have fit better last episode? Anyway, the spooky version of Midnight would like to say the following. Hi everyone, Midnight here again. I can't believe it's nearly been a year since TWOW started. And I'd really like to thank everyone watching and the whole Discord community for making the experience feel so worthwhile and wholesome. I'd also like to especially thank Jamatalk for being so supportive and just in general such a great friend. And again, good luck to everyone still in less than 3. A sign Midnight thinks she'll be first or second. Up next is Ping Pong Cupshots, who had a ponderful confessional. It's very taxing to see Tak go. He tackled each prompt really well. Unfortunately, the attack of voters gets to us all eventually. As a rule of thumb, Tak was always at the top of the stack of TWOWers. Goodbye to our former frontrunner, Tak Ajnin. Also on a side note, I want everyone to know that I have been 101% reliant on luck to get this far. I've definitely had well more lucky and coincidental moments than I probably deserved. However, I do feel as if my luck will have to come to an end eventually. I guess we'll just see. While PPCS didn't change his appearance, Spicy Man 33 did. To this. And no, Spicy, you don't get to revert until TWOW 21. But viewers, if you want context, Spicy's confessional was this. I have temporarily changed my form in honor of Allism, because why not? Take that, Midnight. We know who's the real devoted one. Also, shout out to YJ, LP Carver, Anonyman, Plutonium Cube, World and Go, Philly Millie, Life of Chrome, and hashtag Cherry Dot. TWOW has been an awesome experience. Good luck to my other 6 competitors. If I go out this episode, I can safely say I have no regrets. That's nice to hear. Hey, the Mighty Midge. At first, I couldn't quite understand what you wanted in your confessional, but I think you wanted this. For Tak.
Goodbye, my lover.
TWOW.
Goodbye, my friend.
TWOW.
You have been the one.
TWOW. TWOW.
You have been the one for me.
By the way, the TWOWs were added in there to avoid copyright strikes. I hope it worked. Finally, good ol' Yusoan had this very announcery confessional. Hey everyone, TWOW is getting pretty close. Realistically, it's anyone's game. Who will triumph? Who will be the next to go? Who is the best at Mario Party? Only time will tell as we play 10 Words of Wisdom Final 7 Edition. Except that last question, the answer is me, obviously. Now we're done with confessionals. This is TWOW 20, so what was the 20th TWOW prompt? What should voters rank your entry? I'll just let 2 versions of Past Me explain how you voters should vote. Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once. But voters, you can choose to listen to what the entries say, but you can also choose not to. Maybe you value obedience, but maybe you value rebellion. Perhaps you like originality, and will respect the entry that asks for a rank that nobody else is asking for. You guys can vote up until November 13th, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. Time to show the 15 TWOW 20 responses. Warning, there's a bit of textual nudity in these responses, so if you're not prepared for that, don't vote. As I show you the voting images, former TWOWer Riley is going to sing her cover of Every Way That I Can. I hope you enjoy!
moving on a different course, making our way for a distant course. You say you love me and you roll your eyes, starting to stare at the empty skies. I thought it was over and we passed all that. All we've done is to press back to frame number one. Come on now, I wanna show you all again what it would be like. Just let go and let me love you every way that I can. I'll try to make you love me again every way that I can. I'll give you all my love and then every way that I can. I'll cry, I'll die, make you mine again. Hold me closer, oh so good. You make me feel just like I should. I know what you're thinking, haha, good. Now the rest of the world is overruled. Tell me what you see in other girls all around. Come on closer and tell me what you don't find here. Come on now, I wanna give you everything you've been missing out. Just let go and let me love you every way that I can. I'll try to make you love me again every way that I can. I'll give you all my love and then every way that I can. I'll cry, I'll die, make you mine again. I'm in love with you, I'll do all you want me to. Make me wanna make me wanna I'm in love with you, I'll do all you want me to. Make me wanna make me wanna Nothing in the world that could stop me, no sir. Nothing in the world that could stop me, no sir. Nothing in the world that could stop me, no sir. Nothing in the world that could stop me, no sir. Oh, no, 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 no. Every way that I can, I'll try to make you love me again. Every way that I can, I'll give you all my love and then every way that I can, I'll give you all my love and then every way that I can. I'll cry, I'll die, make you mine again.
So yes, that's it. Soon, the votes will be tallied and used to determine which 6 TWOWers will survive, and which single TWOWer will die. One more thing, former TWOWer LP Carver wanted me to mention the 2 TWOWers who still haven't gotten a single mention. Sorry if I butcher your names, but I'll give it a shot. Israela Moyal and Song Bo-gyu. Before we get to the TWOW 20A fan art, I'd just like to say bye. This is TWOW 20B. If you don't know what's going on, go watch TWOW 0A. But if you do know what's going on, and you're super annoyed that it was 2 weeks between the last episode and this one, well, you can partially blame SpicyMan33 and Hazel Cricket, who are meeting in New York to watch this video, and they wanted it to come out on Friday instead of earlier, so blame them. But the biggest question on your mind right now might be, why am I recording this in person instead of the typical Flash animation? To answer that, you have to remember back to the last episode, when I lip-synced a full 2 seconds of my speech. Someone commented saying that it would be cool if I lip-synced the entire video. Now with typical Flash animation, that would take a long time. But guess what? In real life,
everything is lip synced. This isn't even taking any work, and it's already done. It's so efficient. God. So if you're an attentive TWOW viewer, then you know what the 20th TWOW prompt is. What rank should voters give your entry? And yes, I know because of delays, that has been the current prompt for over a month. Well, that changes today. But first, can I just say thank you to the billions of people who voted on the last episode? In 2019, I was really excited because we got 899 votes, and I was thinking maybe we would get 1,000 next time. Well, is 1,366 more than 1,000? And indeed, you 1,366 voters cast 1,739 votes, if you don't count the multiple votes of shiny cowards. You guys must love all things shiny, huh? Thanks to you, every response was viewed by at least 1,000 eyes, which I'd say is enough to wash out all the flukes of random chance. If you're twart, then you know how it goes. We'll reveal how each TWOWer did in the order they placed last time. So first up is Joseph Howard, who got 3 responses. Next, we'll have Mr. Twister, who's right there. And after that, we've got the listified Spicy Man 33. Oh, let's get a knife out of the way. Then we'll have replica enthusiasts the Mighty Midge and Yasoin, who are both holding miniature versions of books. After that, we'll have Midnight Light, who decided to make herself shady, and Ping Pong Cup Shots. And Ping Pong Cup Shots. What the heck? I made it! Whoa. But enough with the IRL shenanigans. We all know that the virtual world is 20 times more important than the real one. This is Joseph Howard, whose best response to the question, what rank should voters give your entry, was, roll a 6-sided die. Give me the number you get. If every voter followed that rule, Joho would get an average rank of around 3.5th place. Converting that to percentiles, that would be a score of 3.5 minus 1 equals 2.5 divided by 9 is 27.777%, inverted is 72.222%. Is that indeed what happened? Well, I guess you already know it didn't because it is out of range. But whatever. 60.99%, that's a nice score. I'd also like to point out that Joho low-key called AN9K stylish in his second response. So, shippers, you know what to do. Just kidding, I don't condone shipping of any kind. Mr. Twister shined last time, performing the best out of all non-Joho TWOWers. His better response, which asked voters to vote it 4th, actually did better than his other response, which asked for 2nd. So clearly, you can't be too greedy. If everyone did vote Mr. 4th, his score would be 66.67%, easily beating Joseph. But was MT truly that persuasive? Not quite. 54.13% is nice, but look at that tremendously low standard deviation. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And Joseph, you're guaranteed a final 6er. Up next is Olistified Spicy Man 33, who, as Milo Jaka notified, is now the exact inverted hue of what he was before, since red and cyan are opposites. Spicy promised to read the B move script if he won. Now, I've never heard of this B move. What is it? Is it a dance move? I mean, if the dance is catchy enough, voters might rank Spicy high just to hear him recite it. But did they actually care enough? It looks like a good dose of them did, to give Spicy a healthy score of 59.25%. Fourth up is our two-faced efficiency champion, who doesn't deserve to be banned from Age Twin Central. Some of you may have guessed correctly that the Mighty Midge was the one who submitted that questionable boobies response. I'd like to point out that that's 2 pictures of boobies, along with 8 words, and pictures are worth 1,000 words. So technically, that response is 2,008 words, which breaks Mike Ramsey's record for the most words in a response. Anyway, the response that actually determined Midge's score was, I reckon the precipice beckoned, therefore place me 2nd, which has a nice rhyme, but why should the reckoning of a beckoning precipice encourage voters to rank you 2nd? I'm just checking. It just seems unrelated and fated to get debated and hated, and jaded voters stated they waited and played it, feeling agitated and baited they rated it. 48.05%, below halfway. Perhaps safe, perhaps not. You, dear Midge, are sitting on the edge of the beckoning precipice overhanging elimination, and perhaps you'll reckon if wasting your response on textual nudity was really worth it. After the Mighty Midge, we've got eager to turn 22 before being eliminated, Yasoin, or Yasoan. Will stating your wish bring you bad luck, Yasoin? Or will you make it after all? Your lower scoring response was an acronym for place first, but your better response told voters to rank it above the entry directly below the top one. So, first place? Or are you talking about top, as in vertically the highest on the voting screen? Regardless, voters thought you should get a score of 50.61%, meaning you've earned a spot into the final 6. At this rate of TWOW episode release, you will make it to your 22nd birthday. 6th up is Spooky Midnight Light, who used the word reckon just like the Mighty Midge. This seems to be a trend among British TWOWers, it seems. But will the Great British Alliance last? Because either the Mighty Midge, Midnight Light, or Ping Pong Cupshots will be leaving us shortly. PPCS is from Ireland, but it's a bit eerie that all of the final 3 are from the Great Britain area. But regardless of how Midnight does, a British TWOWer will go up against PPCS for the final top 6 spot. Okay, enough talking. Midnight, you get a score of 53.53%. Achievement 666 unlocked. Get it? Because it's satanic, and you made your book dark and spooky also. Okay, I guess that's not super related. But that means a greenish TWOWer is leaving us now. Either the Mighty Midge or Otwood Tumit Figletam will be thrust off of this mysterious grey mountain. This is actually PPCS's 3rd time in the final 2 in the last 4 episodes, so he's a regular here. But once again, it's a TWOWer addicted to boosts versus a TWOWer addicted to efficiency. In other words, Green Tree, the Mighty Midge, is your replacement. Works well with the colors too, doesn't it? So the spotlight rests its gaze on PPCS's response. With first being the riskiest, vote how risky this response is. If that response beats 48.05%, PPCS is safe and the Midge is out. If it fails to beat 48.05%, the Midge is safe and PPCS is out. Which one is it? Well, lovely H-Twin Central moderator Gabe doesn't know the answer, but he's got an ad for you.
You better be ready for the fight.
It's 1220B Part 2 finally!
It's 2 a.m. so I gotta talk quietly, but here's an intro by Diamond Cup 67. And then here's another intro by John Dubuck.
Hello, John Dubuck here, and welcome to TWOW 20B. Part 2!
If you don't know what's going on, you have 0D3 options. 1. Click here to watch TWOW 0A and binge watch all 6.5 hours of the series so far. 2. For the minimum necessary context, I would recommend watching TWOW 19B, 20A, and now 20B. 3. Not understand what's going on and watch through this video confusedly anyway. So back to the results, where the big question of the day is whether Ping Pong Cupshots trumped the Mighty Midge's score of 48.05% or not. The winner makes final 6 and the loser has to gargle hydrochloric acid. Based on comments of the last video and the Discord chat, there were a few people on Team Midge, but a lot more on Team Papux. Let's see which team will survive and which will fall. The Mighty Midge is safe. Goodbye ping pong cup shots. As a fellow member of r/Cubers, I followed your journey through TWOW from the very beginning until now. Despite your elimination, you will always stand out as distinctly the first TWOWer ever to score 2-round victories. Because of this, we may never be rehabilitated from our addiction to remembering you. We saw your highlights, we saw your narrow escapes, and sadly, we'll see you leave now. What's that? I hear Tech Ajnan meowing from inside one of those holes. Oh, he has a final confessional that I forgot to mention. Well, I guess this is the end. Although it's no excuse, coming up with a good response in time got significantly harder when I moved away to university. It would have been nice to stay in the competition for a bit longer, but my responses were getting more serious and bland over time, and could not keep up with this creative competition. Uh-oh, I can't pronounce that.
Goodbye in French.
Tack.
Au revoir.
But hold on, Ping Pong Cupshot's original PM to me had a curly apostrophe here that didn't show up in the voting video. I try to catch these mistakes when I can, but they slip past me every now and then. And also, remember that I told you guys to stick to ASCII-only characters to be safe. Now, this altered response was PPCS's lower scoring response, but it still only scored lower than the elimination threshold by 3%. Do you think it would have been scored at least 3% higher if the apostrophe had stayed? 3% is a big deal this late in the game. But if you do think it was possible, then perhaps Ping Pong Cupshots would have beaten Midge and been safe. What do you think? Should PPCS be brought back? Let me know. But also keep in mind that the precedent that was set in FryUI versus, Ping Pong Cupshots again, 2016, states that a contestant cannot be hurt by boosts, only helped. So, the Mighty Midge is staying in regardless. The question is only whether to bring back PPCS. If he is brought back though, living TWOWers, consider that your chance of winning falls from 1 in 6 back to 1 in 7. And non-living TWOWers, consider that if PPCS is in, the delay until Season 2 will be extended 1 episode, unless they add a double elimination or something. So decide carefully for what you want. But we've gotta move on. Joseph Howard ultimately won his 3rd victory in a row and 4th overall. Other TWOWers, you've got to pick up the pace, or else Joho will just win everything to the end. Though this is made harder by the fact that Joseph gets to write 3 responses next time, yet again. Meester's responses requested 4th and 2nd place, and you can see the very clear spikes in their respective voter rating distributions. But of course, the 4th place spike is even more stark, which explains why its standard deviation was so astronomically low. Everyone just agreed on what score to give it. Speaking of interestingly shaped VRDs, Joseph's response clearly has a uniform distribution across 1 through 6, the results of a die, and then you get the sloping off region of the anti-establishment rebels. Extremely picky SpicyMan33 also wanted me to point out that his ranks have been constantly rising ever since 1210, if you don't include his victories. But that trend just can't continue anymore. And also, mind-numbingly picky Spicy forced me to let you guys know that because Spicy won 1st place among all non-Joho TWOWers, way to glorify your 2nd place rank as something better than it is, he's actually going to read the entire B-movie script on one of the voice channels on H1 Central on Sunday, December 4 at 3 p.m. PST. So that means he broke his promise and isn't going to read the B-move script. Then I guess I'll have to do it.
Flap wings, fly, turn, fly, flap wings.
Sting! Speaking of Spicy, you might think Spicy's VRD looks more favorable than Joho's, but realize that Joho has more weight in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, all pulling his score up, while Spicy is only heavy on the 1sts. Next, based on my subjective tallies, the breakdown for the rank requests of the 15 responses is this. 4 chose first, 3 chose second, 1 chose fourth, 1 chose 491st, and 6 were kinda wishy-washy. But now it's time for the TWOW Simulator predictions. Joseph's triple triumph is propelling him higher and higher up this list, increasing 5 points to now have a 40% chance of winning TWOW. Not as high as Tak's 44% from TWOW 11, but getting close. Spicy also takes second from Yasoen, yay for him. Hold on, at this point, 3 out of 6 TWOWers, a full half, essentially start their names with M, which is quite a monopoly if you consider that M is only 1/26th of the alphabet. But look at the M cluster, they're the bottom 3 on the prediction list, and there's more than a 2 in 3 chance they'll lose a member next episode. Things are indeed getting tight. So, if you haven't noticed, I introduce a brand spanking new type of TWOW data analysis after every 5 TWOW episodes. Today, it's TWOW 20.
To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts.
So let's jump into TWOW 21, but that means we're already up to the 21st TWOW prompt. What is it? Well, do you remember TWOW 6's prompt? What should TWOW 7's prompt be? ZoroArc65 won that episode with the response, "What would you do if you became the next president?" But the rest of the members of the top 10 all did very well too, considering there were 121 contestants total at the time, yet they got barely any recognition. I'm talking about you, Midnight Light, Jumatalk, Dan the Stripe, Ulysses Castillo, Alex Lion 0511, Ping Pong Cup Shots, rest in peace, Green Ninja Lizard 123, Nitro Ninja, and Not Pro. So what will I do to appreciate these 9 underrated performances? I'm going to combine their responses 3 at a time to create the next 3 prompts for TWOW 21, 22, and 23. This time, we're combining these 3. So these are the parts, and this is the whole. What top 10 prize did the chicken cross the road to get? Don't use the letter E. That's the 21st TWOW prompt, courtesy of Dan the Stripe, Ping Pong Cup Shots, and Green Ninja Lizard 123. 6 remaining TWOWers, you have until December 6, 2016 at 10 PM UTC to submit your 2 responses to me via YouTube PM or Discord if the YouTube messaging system is still as buggy as it currently is. Joseph Howard, as seems is common practice these days, you get to have 3 responses. That's it, see you in TWOW 21A. That's when the lowest voted TWOWer will be eliminated at 6th, and the highest voted TWOWer will get a triple response prize for next time. And now it's time to get to fan art. Hey, today is December 2, which means that yesterday would have been November 31st if it hadn't gotten stolen. What happened to it? Well, according to Yasoen, November was bad at Monopoly and had to trade it. But you know what that means? It's almost been a year since TWOW started. December 12 will be the first anniversary. What should you do to celebrate that? Eat onions and family members. But one more thing I got to mention. Gabe's ad from last time was supposed to have 2 links I wanted you to go to. One of them, which was to the TWOW Tumblr, did exist and a lot of people did go. But the other one, which is to Gabe's TWOW Radio on Mixcloud, I forgot to put a link to. So now there's a link in the description and go there now.